I know the fire's been on. Miss when your thighs open up. You say your heart finna close up. That's why you went ahead and broke us. Oh yeah. I know the vibe's been on. Girl, my pride's been gone. Don't let that time be lost. Oh yeah. Don't come for me right now. I can feel every bit of your doubt. Yeah. I don't ever throw in no towel. Yeah. Can't give up right now. Can't give up right now. Can't give up right now. But still the vibes been on. It's when your thighs open up. You say your heart finna close up. Still can't talk about how bad the time. Still can't talk about how bad this wine is. Still can't talk about your love declining. Still can't talk about how bad I mind it. Still can't talk how we can't rewind it. Hop off my throne just for you, your highness. Hop off my throne for you. Hop off my throne just for you, my baby. Hop on the road, baby, with you I'm racing. Tell me I'm the one for this bag I'm chasing. You my little girl, now your dad gon' hate me. Do that little thing, girl, it got me going crazy. Pick up them legs, girl, you know it's my favorite. Turn that around and untie that lace. Put your face down till your legs start shaking. Oh yeah. But still the fire's been on. That's when your thighs open up. You say your heart finna close up. I know. I know the fire's been on. It's when your thighs open up. Your heart finna close up. That's why you went ahead and broke us. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hi everybody. Hold on, let me take my earbuds out because sorry. When I keep my earbuds in for some reason the sound I don't know, just whatever. Hey, hello all my members, my canceled show. Wait guys. I'm so sorry. I know I was supposed to do a video on Monday. It is now Thursday. Bad Cindy. Bad Cindy. Hi everybody. The boys were home Monday, Tuesday, and yesterday because it was raining. It's been raining and storming. So where they work, they work in the hospitality restaurant industry, and it was slow. So they get what is called a cut, where the bosses will call them and be like, "Hey, you guys are cut." My sons, two of them work in the same restaurant, so and they all work in the restaurant industry. So they were all home anyway. My point. I still have one son home today. He's off today. The other boys are all working. So I decided to record this video real quick while he ran out to the supermarket. I don't know what he went to get because I already cooked dinner, but whatever. I said hallelujah because he plays this video game and, rages at his friends. So, I said, let me take this time to just do a video and say hello to you guys, because I'm neglecting my members and Sunday is almost here where I got to do a damn members only. My Sunday members only, I will show my face and all that good stuff. I just didn't feel like, trying to look presentable. I don't have my bonnet on, Bliss. Not yet. Not yet. So I re-dyed my hair. The last time I was live, I had like dyed the front of my hair because the front of my hair is like gray. Like I have this gray streak and I wish it would just all like one patch of gray. That would look so cool. But it's like it looks weird. It still looks like when baby hairs are growing out and they're all gray. It doesn't look like just one silver streak. That would look so cool. um like freaking the wife from the Munsters, or the Bride of Frankenstein, to give me one streak, I'll be good. It's like, no, it's not cute. So my son wanted to dye his hair because he wanted to do like a gray or silver color, kind of like Sophie's. My son wanted that color, so I had to bleach his hair, but I made a mistake. We used the bleach. It's okay, Storm, he's coming back. It's the bleach from this black. Okay, 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 Mama. Okay. It's the bleach from this splat. So the he should have anyway. He went and got a toner, a professional toner, professional developer, but he got a box bleach. So it didn't go as bright as he needed, as light, not bright, as light as he needed. It was just like strawberry, like that orangey color. I've had my hair that orange blonde because I liked that color. He didn't want that color. So anyway, we bleached it like a week and a half ago, and he wanted it brighter. Then he got the toner, and I told him your hair gonna fall out. So he waited, and then he's yesterday like, Mom, please bleach it again. I'm like, boy, your hair falls out. Don't blame me. So we bleached his hair last night, and I wanted. I'm an idiot. I'm telling him don't bleach your hair; it's gonna fall out again. As soon as I bleach his hair, I go and I bleach mine again too. I know. I wonder where he gets it from. Not listening. So I bleached the front, just my bangs again, and then I toned his hair and I toned mine, so it's brighter and it looks nicer because the color is like it was like spotty when I did it before because I just did it at the last minute. I was dyeing his hair and just threw some on my head. But yesterday I paid attention, grabbed my two pieces of bangs and dyed it properly. So it looks much cuter and the back is dark and just the front two pieces are light. So I like it. I'll show you guys on Sunday. So yeah, just that was that. Lisa, oh my gosh. I had screen recorded some lives of Lisa and I was gonna make a video. But I decided against it, right? I really have been trying not to watch Lisa, but there's still creators that I enjoy, like Mickey Mouse fan. I love that girl. Nookie, some other people, Teresa. There's a creator named Teresa, not my girl, Teresa, but a creator named Teresa. Um, so I watch sometimes just to see, and I can only watch a few minutes of Lisa, but I happen to catch where she had a woman in the background, like she's chilling with another addict, and the woman asks for her pipe, if she has anything in her pipe, and just a bunch of stuff. And I was gonna post it just to keep trying to show people that she's in active addiction, that all of her money's going to that. And it just feels I'm like at a point where I'm like, I don't know, I'm at a point where people are thinking that I'm a bully. um I've seen some criticism lately of people saying that they don't understand why me and Sophie talk about Lisa. First of all, Sophie doesn't talk about Lisa. um Sophie's one of my close friends, so I know that Lisa triggers her. I know that Lisa triggers Sophie. So she doesn't cover Sophie. She covers Lori and Gabby, and like, she talks about Gabby and stuff because these are women that anger us. It's very different than Lisa, right? Lisa upsets me because of the things that she does to people, the way she treats people, her entitled attitude, but I feel a lot of sadness and fear for Lisa in my heart. Like those are my main feelings towards Lisa. Sadness, despair, because when I watch her, I it reminds me of how dark that life is. Those are my initial feelings for Lisa. When I look at Lori, I feel no sadness, no despair, no empathy. Sorry, I was going no, none. I used to. That day that she came on crying when they removed, officially removed her daughters, I felt so sad for her and I gave her grace in that video that I did that night. And it was short lived because the next day she came on threatening the CPS workers, and my grace flew right out the window, right on the out my balcony onto the damn floor because she just can't help herself. But that day when she came on crying, my heart was broken for her. I don't know what it is to have my sons removed. Thank God, by the grace of God. I had amazing parents, amazing parents. I still have an amazing father, an amazing stepmother that would never have allowed me to experience that. Not really me, my sons. You know what I mean? Because I made the choice. They just never allowed my sons to do that. I've shared with you guys. I was, me and my husband we started using after our third kid. Never used drugs until I had my third son. And I've also shared because when I got pregnant with my second son, right? My first two sons, they're like Irish twins. I got pregnant with my second son when my first son was 3 months old. I know. Um, but I have my sons for a reason. That's just not my belief. Again, I don't tell other women what to do with their bodies. I'm just explaining why I have five sons. Okay. Um, so when I was pregnant with my second son, my mom came out of prison. My mom was in prison for a minute, a long time. Um, and she had no, no. Sorry. As soon as I had my second son, my mom came out of prison. And it just so happens that I was living in the Bronx. My family, like, it's so funny. My father's side and my mother's side lived in the same building. My dad's family, primarily, like my dad's parents, my dad's brother, my dad's two sisters, and my mother's brother is married to my father's sister. So I used to go there and see, my mother's two brothers, my father's sisters, my father's cousins. Like, it was like, the whole family lived in that building. So I moved across the street. My dad helped me, pay the first month's rent, security, all that. My father got me my first apartment across the street from my family. So after I had my second son, my mom was in a program like right close by, um so it just so happened that she didn't know I was staying there, because we hadn't spoken. I hadn't seen my mother since I think since I was a teenager. I know that. I don't remember what age, but I know I was a teenager living with my dad and my stepmom. And she came one day, I guess, for money. She had just come out of jail, and she had some weird biking short suit on, and I was embarrassed. So I went upstairs and tried to get her something that fit, but I was like maybe 100 pounds, and really was trying to find some clothes for her, because she had on like a biking, those biking shorts, those tight spandex biking shorts, and like the little sports bra. And I just felt embarrassed. So that's what I'm saying when I. Anyway, let me finish this and then I'll explain. So that was the last time I saw her as a teenager. I didn't see my mother again until I had my second son, and I ran into her. She went to visit her brother, and my aunts, and they said, "Oh, we have a surprise for you," and they brought her across the street. So I started, interacting with my mom again, and she had just had my brother and sister. They're twins. They're the same age as my second son. They're a month younger than my second son. Um, so we started interacting, yada yada yada, and then um, a year later we moved in together. We got an apartment together. We lived together and all this stuff. And then I got pregnant with my third son. And just living with my mom just brought up a lot of feelings in me. She was clean at this time, so it wasn't like she was using or anything, but it brought all my trauma back, things that I didn't even know were there. You know what I mean? I'm not blaming her. I'm just telling you what happened. It just brought up all my trauma. It brought up all these feelings, and I had my third son, and I didn't know what these feelings were. I didn't deal with them. I didn't really talk about them. And me and my husband, who's now my ex, started going to clubs and stuff. Because I had my mom there to babysit and yada yada yada, and my cousin would come over, and she basically lived with us, and so she was a big help with the kids. We started going to clubs on Fridays and started experimenting. After I had my third kid, never had used drugs before that because my mom was an addict, and I was terrified of drugs, and I think that's why I didn't mess with cocaine, because my mother's drug of choice was cocaine and then crack cocaine. I was terrified of that drug, right? So I started messing with, opiates. Not that they're any better, but anyway, I had never really known any opiate addicts, So anyway, not making an excuse, just trying to explain yet again. Um, so that's another reason why Lori bothers me, because my mom used to dress inappropriately sometimes and didn't know. She could only give what she had to give. Um, And Lori reminds me of my mother. Lori's just a light skinned version of my mother. My mother's just a dark version of Lori, in the way they acted. My mom acted like that in active addiction. When my mom was sober, she was an amazing mom, an amazing grandmother. Um, Lori angers me because I was her daughters. I was her daughters, and I remember being embarrassed by the things my mom did, the way my mom dressed, and my mom always put men before us, ahead of us. She always chose men over us. She left my father when I was very young, 3 years old, because my dad was a good guy. She left him because he was a good guy, and my mom said that. So the day my mom passed away, she would admit, I left your dad. That was the biggest mistake I ever made. Your dad, I left him because he was too nice, my mom said. And that was a big mistake. My father worked hard. My father's retired and still goes into work. It's crazy. Hard worker, always had the same job, you know. So Lori reminds me of my mom. And that's why I get so angry at her, because she doesn't understand the lifelong damage she's instilling in those girls. Some things they may never recover from. They need to be in counseling for the trauma they experienced in Florida. Because, again, I speak from experience. If you don't deal with it in adulthood, it can lead to addiction. It can lead to many different things. It can lead to self-harm, like cutting and all these other things. I just think that they need to be in counseling. Because my parents tried to put me in counseling, but I was already 16 and I was already rebellious. And I told the therapist the opposite. I did the same thing with my stepmom. I used to write in my diary the opposite of the truth, because I knew she was going to read my diary, and I wanted to trigger her. I wanted to trigger her. I swear to God. Which in hindsight was the stupidest shit. If I would have just been honest and tried to have a relationship with my stepmother, things would have been different. We had a great relationship until I became a rebellious teenager. She was amazing to me. Like, I was like a princess. I had everything. She bought me everything, extravagant dresses, like jewelry. I had everything. But then I became rebellious, and I didn't see it back then. I thought she was just the wicked stepmother. Now that I'm an adult, once I became a mother, I started seeing things differently. I started realizing I disrupted their household. They took me and my brother in. You know what I mean? And they rearranged their whole lives for me and my brother. And I became a teenager and resented her because my mother wasn't there for me. And that wasn't her fault. That wasn't her fault. And that's why I'm so glad that the girls have someone like Psycho Bunny, who's not trying to be their mother, not pretending that she's their mother, but she's there for those girls, and she genuinely loves those girls. And instead of Lori appreciating that and understanding that it takes a village, the more people that love your kids, the more blessed they are. But Lori's too selfish. And sadly, my mom was the same way. She poisoned us against my stepmother and my dad. She tried to poison us against my dad. It didn't work. We knew better. What I mean? She tried real hard to poison us against my dad. Um, my mom did some wicked things to my dad. I won't go into, because it's too traumatic and triggering. But she did try to poison us against my stepmother. And so we saw my stepmother as the enemy. And when I moved in with her, I still had that in the back of my mind. You know what I mean? Um, so that's why Lori really, really triggers me, because I was her girls. And even though when I saw my mother when I was already a mom myself, I thought I was good. I thought I was okay. And it just snuck up on me like a ton of bricks, and led me to want to medicate and numb and not think about it. And because I didn't understand what was happening, I didn't understand what I was feeling. I couldn't identify why I was feeling these things. It didn't dawn on me that it was my past trauma, and it was just my living with my mom and all these things that was just all hitting me. I didn't understand it. But now that I'm in recovery and I've had counseling and groups and all these things, I've identified what those feelings were and what triggered that response in me and led me to my addiction. but it was only through recovery that I was able to identify that. Hold on. Anyway, my son is here. Hold on, Jay. Sorry, he came home. I'm not gonna be on much longer because my son just came back home. I just wanted to do a video for my members and do something. I promise I will be live on Sunday. Um, I like to do it earlier because I have a lot of energy. I'm a morning person. I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, so I'm a morning person. By 9 o'clock, I'm already tired. I'm about to go watch Michelle After Dark. I'll link her channel. I think she has an amazing channel. And she's reacting to the Degenerate Crew, who is doing a lot. We don't name them for those that are from Storms, for those that are from the awareness community that aren't from my old community and haven't really been on my channel a long time. I don't name the Degenerate Crew because they're going real life on my friends, as real life as you can go. My friends will be talking about it more once they can because there's legal things going on, people making frivolous lawsuits and stuff. So once they can talk about it, they will. And I will afford them the platform on my channel. You know, they have their own platforms, but we can do it on mine. We can do whatever because those are my girls. Those are my best friends. Um, there's a lot this crew has done, continues to do on YouTube to us. The worst of the worst things, say the worst of the worst things. Telling people to attack us worse, to go real life, to do worse to us. So it's a lot. It's a lot. I ignore them. I don't even talk about them on my channel. I've moved to other content. I can, talk about these TikTok scammers, and that's what it's going to continue to be because they need somebody to fight with them, and they are the best at projecting everything that they're guilty of. They try to project and say that we're doing. I do no real life. I do zero real life. I do zero dirt behind the scenes. Nothing. If I've done that, it would have been exposed already. Somebody would have came out with some DMs of me plotting, scheming, giving them information, saying, "Hey, can you do this for me? Hey, let's attack this person. Hey, let's do that." I do none of that. None of that. I don't Google people. I don't go to people's Facebooks. I don't do any of that. Not trying to say that I'm better than anybody. It's those that have to be standards for me because once I cross those, I'll go all out. I'll go all out. Like, because people have already come for my kids. They've talked about my marriage, all kinds of stuff. When my marriage ended, not because I wanted it to. So they think that they know so much and all this stuff. They know nothing and they can't touch me, and that's why they're mad. That's why, because if I was really that dirty, they would have proven it. They have nothing. They have nothing. All they have is me talking on my channel. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great night. Sorry this was a short video. I promise today's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I will be back Sunday, guys, and we will have a real live, and we will talk all the things, because I appreciate talking to you guys. Okay. So I hope you guys have a great night, and I will see you guys Sunday. Bye, guys.